easy to forget, as people are caught up in the corona crisis, that global warming is still a cause of concern for everyone, just as much as the ongoing pandemic. COVID-19 is the greatest global challenge many of us will experience in our lifetimes. But before the pandemic hit, it was climate change that loomed over us as the planet's biggest problem. So, what happens now? How do we deal with both of them at the same time? According to a research study published in the journal Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences by scientists from China, the United States, and Europe from 2020, the Earth will have temperatures similar to those of the Sahara in 50 years, unless greenhouse gas emissions decline. If warming therefore continues, migration may become necessary. This is as much cause for alarm as the corona scare. People must be encouraged to make small changes to their daily behavior, starting with the simplest way to fight climate change, recycling. Additionally, we should conserve water, eat food with less packaging, and if possible, walk rather than take public transportation. To prevent this rapid temperature rise, each of us must play a role in doing what we can, even in the littlest of ways, to help the environment. Unless people are educated about the problem, they cannot be mobilized to contribute to solutions. If warming continues, the fear that the long-term effect would be much more significant of a crisis than that of the pandemic. To quote Professor Martin Skiffer of Wageningen University, the coronavirus has changed the world in ways that were hard to imagine a few months ago, and our results show how climate change could do something similar. Change would unfold less rapidly, but unlike with the pandemic, there would be no relief to look forward to. Large areas of the planet would heat to barely survivable levels and they wouldn't cool down again. Not only would this have devastating direct effects, it leaves societies less able to cope with future crises like new pandemics. The only thing that can stop this happening is a rapid cut in carbon emissions. Technological advances, particularly the discovery and use of fossil fuels, have contributed to climate change, but they have also allowed humanity to become aware of our impact on the planet and develop techniques to address global warming. The following are the discoveries made which could help humanity avoid the catastrophic damage which a continued increase in global temperatures could cause. Carbon capture. The rising average temperature of the Earth is primarily blamed by scientists on man-made emissions of greenhouse gases that trap radiation in the atmosphere which would otherwise escape into space. Among the most significant greenhouse gases is carbon dioxide, concentrations of which have increased by almost 50% since the Industrial Revolution began. Innovations being used to reduce carbon dioxide emissions include carbon capture, utilization, and storage technologies, with the net zero decide project being an interesting example. Net zero decide aims to capture carbon dioxide produced in industrial processes and power plants and transport these emissions by pipeline to offshore storage sites several kilometers beneath the North Sea. Sequestered in secure areas deep beneath the sea, this carbon would no longer contribute to the greenhouse effect and it could even be synthesized into new fuels for transportation systems in the future. The aim of net zero decide is to reduce carbon emissions in a number of carbon-intensive industries in the Northeast to zero by as early as 2030. Remote working. As the coronavirus pandemic has shown, many office jobs can be successfully fulfilled from home, potentially offering a route to reduce emissions from transport and office buildings. Driving to and from work is the largest source of carbon emissions in the developed world. The technology to support remote working has been rapidly adopted as businesses attempted to manage the impact of COVID-19 on their workers, and governments rushed to lock down their countries and prevent mass deaths. Greater use of data centers. The advent of computers has increased electricity consumption considerably, but modern data centers are often far more energy efficient than personal computers. Rather than performing energy intensive applications in local machines, people could begin to offset a considerable amount of energy expenditure by having these applications performed in the cloud. The big technology companies like the Amazon, Google, and Microsoft are large consumers of renewable energy. Google and Microsoft have both launched cloud gaming platforms to which don't require gamers to purchase to play them. But data centers are dependent upon quality internet connections, which themselves can produce emissions. And for many people across the world, those connections simply aren't available. Household energy efficiency. But among this all, the single most effective technological solution to climate change is going to be reducing energy consumption overall. And nothing is going to do that more than making homes more energy efficient. The technology to achieve this is already there, with many of the newest products on the market capable of shaving hundreds of pounds off of household bills annually. Energy savings made through design innovations for these household goods might be small individually, but they have the potential to scale and significantly impact energy consumption across the course of a year for a household, and even more significantly across all households in a country. Each individual contributes to climate change, which is why it's important to keep reminding people about this problem. Increasing awareness, reiterating its importance, it is a very essential. Social media and technology will educate people. They will always be instrumental in raising awareness and has taken some campaigns to great heights. We should be reminded for our future, for the next generation.